Thank you for joining us today for our fireside chat with Oh Polly. We'll be focusing on optimizing commerce experiences for one of the UK's fastest growing fashion brands. So to introduce myself, I'm Millicent Morgan from Nosto. You can find out way more about Nosto over there at the big booth behind you. But a little bit about who we are. We are an intelligent commerce experience platform giving brands and retailers intuitively designed tools to increase their online revenue through end-to-end commerce experience management. Now, enough about us, over to Oh Polly. Lauren, would you like to introduce yourself to the audience?
Hi, I'm Lauren. I am e-commerce product owner at Oh Polly, and I've been there for about 4 years now, about 2 of those working in marketing and 2 in the e-commerce space. Oh Polly, if you don't know who we are, we're a really fast-growing, pure-play e-commerce fashion brand for women, primarily selling occasion wear, but we also have a sister brand, Bow & Tea, which specialises in activewear and athleisure wear. We're a Shopify brand, and we've worked with Nosto for a number of years now. Phil, I'll let you.
Hi, sure. I'm Phil Gregory. I'm Regional Head of Customer Experience here at Nosto for the UK Nordics. Myself and my team typically look after our existing portfolio of business, including brands such as Oh Polly, Belstaff, Dermalogica, as well as many more. And we really work with those brands to optimize as much as possible their on-site personalization experience. So, that's a little bit about me.
Welcome, both. So Lauren, first of all, I know many of us in the audience will be super familiar with Oh Polly, but some of us might not have any idea who we're talking about. So first things first, can you please give a short summary on the brand for anyone who might not be familiar with the brand?
Sure. So Oh Polly was founded, I think, 9 to 10 years ago. Our two founders, Mike and Claire. We have grown astronomically over that time. We actually started on eBay selling Claire's clothes to fund our charity. And over time, that's just grown into a massive brand that it currently is. We were on Magento a few years ago, and then we migrated to Shopify. I don't know if it's working, because...
Your mic. Sorry, guys, hold that thought.
People looking at me like, what's going on? Thank you. Is that better?
Closer?
Is that any better?
Yeah.
Good. We migrated from Magento onto Shopify a couple of years ago, and essentially we ship globally. We're based in the UK, but we have now teams in the US. We're really expanding into the US and Australia and different markets. Primarily until the last few years, been really UK focused, but now we're trying to go global as much as we can. We're really a total pure play women's wear brand. If you don't know, is kind of targeting like 16 to 30 age range with really kind of glamorous, glitzy occasion wear primarily, targeting something a little bit extra for people who maybe want to stand out or people who are shopping for their big occasions in their life is kind of where we sit in the e-com ecosystem, I suppose.
Great. Yeah. Thank you. And I guess we've been working with Oh Polly since 2021, so that's 3 years now.
Yeah.
What led you to partner with Nosto for this growth?
Yeah. So we actually started speaking to Nosto when we were on the Magento platform. And then when we launched our sister brand, Bow & Tea, on Shopify, we very quickly, after spending about a year migrating to M2, pivoted onto Shopify within about 3 months. And we knew that Nosto had a really, really, amazing Shopify connector. And we basically said, well, this is working. Why not just take it over onto Shopify? And what we're looking for was on-site content personalization, giving people some really relevant and intentional experiences when they land on our website based on either what we think is best practice and the data that we've got in terms of product data and consumer data, but also what we know about our customers and making sure that when they land on the site, they've got a super relevant, personalised experience. They're seeing the products that they want to see. They're seeing the content that we want them to see, and that was all able really easily to be delivered through Nosto. It's a very easy platform for us to use. Our team love it, and our developers like using it as well, which doesn't happen often. So we have a really good time integrating Nosto throughout our full site. It's across every page on our website, and it has been for a number of years, and it's grown with us as we've grown as a brand and grown into different websites, different regions and stuff very easily. So.
Thank you for providing that context. I hope we're all up to speed now. We're going to get into some of the details. So I guess the first section is around segmentation. So when it comes to your e-commerce store, you've got a very thorough segmentation strategy, especially when you're looking at such a large collection of very niche products that are all in the same category, really. Are you able to give a few examples of how you're segmenting different users and why this is important?
Yeah, so essentially, I'll not bore you with all the details. It is a very thorough segmentation strategy and you don't need to know all of it, but one of the key things for us was, like I said, making sure that the experience is really relevant. As Millie said, we sell primarily dresses, right? Like 80 to 85% of our category is dresses, but dresses come in many different shapes, forms, sizes, and people have got their own preferences in terms of what they like by the product and also by things like price. So we kind of take a two-pronged approach to that. In terms of product, someone who likes long sleeve maxi dresses is not going to want to see a strapless mini dress on their homepage or at the top of their categories. If we know that they want to see maxi dresses, our chance of making them convert is so much higher if we just show them what they want or what we think that they want. So that's the first one in terms of product. And then in terms of price, we have got a really wide range of prices in our collection, and we've got a really wide range of customers, some of whom like to shop discounts and some of whom like to shop full price and don't want to shop discounts. And for us, in terms of looking at profit margin and looking at profitability, there is no point in us showing customers who consistently shop full price and show us that they have got a higher affinity for full price products and not shopping discounts. There's no point us showing them 70% off sales because we're just reducing our profit margin by doing so. So we segment quite significantly our higher price customers, our higher AOV customers. Those who shop full price, they will see primarily full price products. When we do launch sales, they'll potentially see products which are only 10, 20, 30% off because we know they're more likely to convert on that. Whereas customers who we know through the data that we've got on them want to shop discounts, want to use discount codes and shop with a lower AOV, we will show them products at 50, 60, 70% off. And that protects not only our margin, but also our brand. So we're not constantly showing people discount, but we're showing the correct people who want to shop discounts, the discounts. So it means that when you land on our website as a new customer, you're not being hit with loads of sale messaging, which we don't want. We don't want to devalue our brand and people think that we're a sale brand all the time because we're really not. Yeah. But we have customers in massive customer segments who want to shop discounted products. They will see those discounted products through segmentation with Nosto.
Yeah. As you said, there's a lot to kind of go at in this realm, a lot of information to distill there. I guess, is there any like specific wheres and hows to add to that, Phil, that might help the audience like digest that information?
Yeah, sure. I think Lauren's alluded to some really, really strong segmentation pieces there. I think what I see as within our region is lots of different approaches to segmentation. Nosto's built in a way where you can sort of track all of this within the one platform. So it's really easy for e-com managers or marketing managers to come into Nosto, look at the segments and how they're performing, but then actually create those actions that actually meet the business objectives, which I think is something that's really clear with Oh Polly. One particular one that we enjoyed doing with the Oh Polly team was definitely around that kind of full price, discount price affinity, and making sure that those customers that we know typically buy full price or have a proven track record of doing so, when they're at key stages within their journey, we're making sure that we're upselling or we're cross-selling exactly what we know they want to see. So one real great example is in the checkout area on Oh Polly, where we're already seeing them coming through to the checkout or the bag area. We know what they've kind of got there. We're then looking to improve that AOV and looking to really improve those full price items with good margin, which is taking them through that conversion path and on to becoming a loyal customer with Oh Polly. So a really good use case, and one that I think is quite easily achievable within the Nosto CXP.
I think just to add to that, other people in the room might be in a similar situation. We're a brand where people shop dresses primarily. We don't have a massive basket size and we don't have a massive product range. People aren't coming to us and buying multiple pairs of jeans, t-shirts, jackets, things like that. They are buying a birthday dress potentially or a Christmas night out dress. So trying to upsell them at checkout with buying another full £70 dress can sometimes be quite difficult. So that's where we've really honed in on that strategy to be like, is it worth our while showing them this product? Because if not, we're just taking up valuable space in the push cart, which could be used for something else if they're not going to add it. So we've kind of fine-tuned that through Nosto over time to make sure we are actually showing them the relevant products.
Yeah, so it's like even though you're selling really quite similar products, they're really going to be different behaviors in the purchases of these different products, yeah. Okay, great, thanks for that. I guess moving on to A/B testing. Again, I know you're a huge advocate of A/B testing, and before, especially before implementing on-site experiences on a larger scale, We obviously think that's great. But what are your reasons for this? And are there any specifically illuminating tests that you've run that might be interesting for the audience today?
Yeah. So yeah, in general, I just A/B test everything that I can if possible. I'm really terrified of just going out with things that might massively increase or decrease conversion rate and having no idea what's actually caused the fluctuations. As a brand, we don't, like I say, we're not, your Boohoo, your ASOS that have got a continual flow of products. We do launches, so our conversion rate's quite cyclical and it can change. So I'm quite scared to make changes and then not really know what's driven them. So we A/B test everything through Nosto. Probably the key one is, which I think we're going to go into a bit more detail later on, but one of the best tests that we've ever done was category merchandising with Nosto versus, having it on versus not having it at all. We've obviously continually over time fine-tuned the category merchandising, but we actually tested just switch it off versus have it on, and I think in a month's test, clicks on the categories that had category merchandising increased by 70%. And I think conversion rate and revenue can increase by about 50-ish%. It was a massive, massive increase. And then when we rolled that out to all categories, rather than just doing a test on specific categories, our clicks actually increased by 270%. Our conversion rate increased by 80%. And we were able to take that to the business and say, you can either manually merchandise for the rest of your lives and be continually bored and show everyone the same products, or you can just let this tool do it for you. And obviously we go in and we fine-tune the rules and we make it work for us. But once we've got those set up, all we have to do is kind of iterate and move on them a little bit. We don't need to go through, our e-com team do not need to sit and manually pull products and drag and drop them and stuff, which I don't know about you guys, but I just don't want our e-com team having to spend their time doing that. And also, there's products which in a normal conventional merchandising strategy might sit on page 5 of a category, but for specific customers, they should be on page 1 because it's what that customer really wants to see. So we're giving visibility to our product category in a way that we're not able to without having that live. But we had to challenge kind of conventional beliefs in our business that things had to be merchandised really prettily. We put a lot of money and effort into our visual content and really nice shoots and beaches and things like that. And our team wanted everything merchandised nicely, side by side or by colour. And we had to challenge that belief and come at them with data, because at the end of the day, data does trump opinion. And if you're going to your senior leader saying, okay, I can make you 80% more money, I can get you 80% more clicks on this category, they're probably not going to say no.
Yeah.
So that's what we had to do with testing and continually test and iterate on these kind of things that people might not have wanted to do before. And once you have the data to back it up, they're like, okay, roll with it, and we've never stopped using it since.
Yeah, it's kind of like removing the emotion from it and making it less subjective. Like there is this objective answer, and that's how we're moving forward. And I know that in our own marketing team, that's sometimes the way that I need to move with things when I want to kind of get a specific point across. But I know this is also something that isn't just experienced by Oh Polly, and like other customers of ours have come up with the same kind of discussion. How do we preserve like the way we want things to be in terms of our brand, rather than just I guess conversion rate optimization. And Phil, how would you kind of explain to these people how you might be able to manage that within Nosto?
Yeah, great question. I mean, firstly, I don't know if any of you have kind of checked out Oh Polly, but they're not just UK based. So they've obviously got lots of different e-com stores touching different geographies. I think what we tend to do in this occasion is sort of test on one of the markets and kind of see, how is it doing, what's the performance uplift. I think when you're talking about managing something like category merchandising within the one platform, within the Nosto user interface, you've also got very easy mechanisms to be able to pass all of those learnings from what you're doing in the UK store and quite easily set up the same merchandising rules, or even go down the A/B testing route of then seeing, is the same uplift or the same response being met in, for example, the US market or in somewhere in Europe or EMEA and APAC. So I think the managing within one platform, the easy kind of no-code based changes to things like attribution and merchandising rules, I think that's a huge benefit for certainly retailers like sub or plus 100 million in revenue like Oh Polly, but also those with slightly leaner teams or smaller e-com teams where you're trying to squeeze the most out of something without having to put in lots of hours of dev and coding-based work to be able to manage that.
And this is something that you kind of put into action at Oh Polly, right, as you've been growing in the last 3 years?
Yeah, so we originally launched on Shopify with one store, one global store. Then we launched a US-specific store. And when we were launching that store, we didn't have to start from scratch with Nosto. We literally just lifted everything over and started with those best practices. Now, that's not to say that the US customers behave in exactly the same way. They don't, and some things have had to be changed and fine-tuned over time, but we didn't have to start from scratch. We were able to go, well, we've done these 10 tests, and they've all given us these exact results, so why not just implement that best practice to start with, get us a really good step up, and launch on this store really quickly, get off the ground, you hit the ground running, and then we can go in and fine-tune, and we've done the exact same when we launched an Australian store. We've just continually lifted and shifted all of our Nosto settings over time, and then just tweaked them on the individual stores as they need to.
Yeah, and I think it kind of comes back to this continuous optimization where it's not just one test, this is the answer. It's okay, new market, maybe a new period of time, maybe it's a new season, like continuous testing. I think it's been a really good thing that you've been doing. Okay, moving on then to the next question. So I understand that you're also using extensive product recommendations. So can you please talk about how you've ensured that they're appearing across all different possible user journeys within your store?
Yeah, so we have basically got a Nosto recommendation placement on every single page on our store. They're on the homepage, they're on category pages, product pages, the push cart, search, wish list. Everywhere that you think that you might want to see a recommendation, you will see one. They obviously all have different purposes and they don't always all bring in the same results. And we've got slightly different strategies and approaches for each of them, whether or not we're going to show recently viewed products or potentially visually similar products, which is one that we've launched, which has been a massive time saver for us. It's been really great for conversion. But basically what we want is that if anyone lands on our site, if they're a new visitor and they land on our site, at all the different stages in their journey and every different customer touch point, they will see best practice recommendations for best sellers, for example, because we don't know anything about these people that have just landed on the site. They will see best sellers, they will see things that are going to make their journey a lot quicker, a lot simpler. We don't want them to have to look through our 50, 60 categories to find what they want. They can quite easily see, here's what people in your area are shopping, or here's what other people purchased today, or whatever. Here's our best sellers. But if we do know something about that customer, then we might as well surface it as soon as they land on the site. I don't see the point in making them jump through hoops to find things that they've recently viewed or things that they've been interested in before. So we try and surface them as early in their journey as possible and carry them through the journey as well. We don't want people jumping back and forward through pages like, where's that product going? I don't know where to find it. They should be visible on every single page. And even if they are not currently, for example, looking for, they're not on a product page, they're on a search page, we know at that point they're searching for a product. So we'll have customers who search this also purchased. And just anything that's a shortcut for them, whatever we think behaviourally they're intended to do at that time, there is a recommendation for. And it just saves us a lot of time, it saves the customer a lot of time just to have those recommendations set up, in place, continually learning about the customer as well. Yeah, it's a no-brainer for us. There's literally, hopefully not a page that you'll land on where you don't find one.
And as someone who's actually shopped on Oh Polly and come across a certain challenge of out of stock, can you tell me a little bit about how your product recommendations help manage that problem?
Yeah, so we're in the middle of kind of optimising our out of stock journey and what happens in the product life cycle where, for example, a product's fully in stock, it's got full availability, great, customers can check out really easily, brilliant. We'll just surface them the recently viewed recommendations. You might also like this recommendation. But if a product has got variants out of stock and a user selects that variant, they should then see visually similar products which are in stock in their size. Make the journey really easy, really simple for them. If a product's fully out of stock, they will also see visually similar products. For example, if you click on a white mini dress, it is not in stock. We know you've got intent there to shop a white mini dress. Why would we show you red maxi dresses? It's not relevant. So we use a visually similar algorithm to go, here's all the other white mini dresses that they might see as a really close alternative to what they're shopping. And that's been a game changer for us because we do get a lot of products that potentially go viral and fully sell out and they're getting loads of traffic to them and we can't convert on those pages. So we need to create, rather than just redirecting them somewhere else, let them land on the page, let them sign up for back in stock notifications, but also show them other recommendations and other alternatives. And we do the same for pre-order. If you've got a product on pre-order, you don't want to wait 6 to 8 weeks to get it, shop something else that's really similar, it's a nice alternative. Remind them that they can get that with next day delivery.
Yeah.
And the conversion rate on that is massive.
Simple but effective. And I guess you've actually touched on quite a few of the details there, but looking at the powerful results from these recommendations, Phil, could you just give a brief overview, we're getting a bit short on time now, of how exactly these recommendations are firing for Oh Polly and how you've touched on the visually similar and that kind of thing, but how we're kind of working in the background there?
Yeah, sure. So I think we've obviously touched on quite a few different strategies we've got here. I think we were talking pre-talk here about, like, it sounds like a lot of work. It sounds like Lauren and her team are working 24 hours a day to make sure that everything fits into the right place and has the right strategy. But I think using Nosto's, certainly the visual AI side of things, and AI is a real buzzword at the moment, we've actually managed to make sure that it's not a set and forget strategy. It's a let's get it in place. We know it works. We've tested its strategy, and it will continue to do its thing in the background as users continue to hit out-of-stock products, hit pre-ordered product pages where they're vital. But I think Oh Polly's strategy very much aligns with, we want to make sure that at each point where a customer's interacting with a part of the website, we need to have a detailed strategy to make sure that it's there in the background, it's working hard for us, but it's also bringing really good results as well, which is ultimately, it's a results-driven business. So certainly when we look at pages like the PDP and we're driving really positive results on the recommendations and the cart page as well, I think the more that we continue to do around the automation side and enhancing each headache, we'll see really, really positive results with Oh Polly moving forward as well.
Great. Okay, final question. We've got a few minutes left. Lauren, what is one of the most impactful campaigns or optimizations that you've made to your on-site user journey with Nosto? And if able, can you please share results?
We've got a few. I think probably the key one is the category merchandising one that we mentioned. That has been the biggest game changer for our team in terms of results, but also time. The crazy amounts of conversion, increase that caused us was just like, it was basically solved a massive problem which we had internally, which was the time we were spending merchandising, and also made us a lot more money in the same vein. So that's probably been the key game changer for us. But also we do continually add in new features. I think push cart recommendations has been probably the most impactful one. That's got our highest conversion rate. I think that's got a conversion rate of it fluctuates between maybe 5 and 10% on that. And like I was saying, it's really difficult for us when we're trying to get people to buy a 80 to 100 pounds dress to encourage them to buy another one. But the fact that we've got such a high conversion rate on that placement so late in the funnel tells me that we're doing something right with the category merchandising rules that we're applying to it, with the recommendations that we're providing. The algorithm is obviously it's doing its job to surface products that they want to see at that point, because it's quite difficult to get them to add potentially double their AOV at that point in the journey, but they're obviously keen to do so.
Yeah, great. And Phil, are there any features you're excited for Nosto to be rolling out that will benefit Oh Polly's experience with us further?
Yeah, absolutely. I think firstly, really looking forward to bringing in things like return rates through Shopify. So we're working currently with Oh Polly on how we can bring in the attribute to analyze what the returns rate is on certain products to make sure that we've got a strategy within CM recommendations that's taken into account all of that data and everything that's coming in. I guess one really big one that we're looking forward to is the new Shopify checkout and also the post-purchase flows as well. So really looking forward to working on Oh Polly with those when we're there.
Great, well, look forward to seeing more. And that brings our chat to a close. We realised that was a lot of information. If you'd like to see more from Nosto, you can request a demo there or go hit up the guys just behind you. They'll be happy to chat more. Thanks for your time, and that's everything from us.